Nigeria and U.S. have had a very healthy trade relations over the decades, though it seems like Nigeria is more engaged with China. I remember in 2000, President Clinton, when he came to Nigeria, established the Africa Growth Opportunity Act. Can you share with us now, where is it at this level? Because we see Nigeria tilting more to the east. How is America engaging Nigeria?
It's true that the AGOA, or the Africa Growth and Opportunity Act, is approaching its 15th birthday. And we've had great success with AGOA, although I will say we have not had as much success as we wanted. It's good that Nigeria has diverse trading partners. China is a trading partner. The United States is a trading partner. Nigeria is actually the U.S.'s largest sub-Saharan Africa trading partner. So we can still consider that healthy. But I will say that under AGOA, the vast majority of exports have been oil exports. They're oil-related exports. And so while that's good, it's not good enough. What we wanted through AGOA was to really encourage African-produced goods, produced for export to our market, and AGOA provides import incentives for that. So what we're doing this year, actually, we have undergone a review of AGOA, what has worked, what has not worked so well. There's been a lot of review and consideration of whether African exporters are getting the bang for their buck, if they're really just exporting mostly raw goods or mostly unfinished goods. So there's examination of how we can focus more on value-added work. There's also a greater look at, for many years now, the third country fabric provision, the idea that every aspect of the finished good does not have to have been made in Africa. So that's why you have a lot of frankly, Chinese textile factories that are using foreign workers to produce exports that actually come out of Africa, so they're an African export. But the full range of profit from that particular merchandise is not staying in Africa. So we want to look at that as well. How can we make sure that that we're building capacity among Africans, among Nigerians specifically in this case, to create their own sector, to create a sector that's valuable. All that said, we believe that the program in and of itself, the AGOA program, is still a very good one, and we want to preserve it. We want to have a seamless transition, what we call a seamless continuation of the AGOA program, and of course that will depend on congressional ratification, congressional legislation, but we're pushing to have AGOA renewed.
Several years ago, when President Obama visited Ghana, he said that Africa needs strong institutions. And our president has also reemphasized that, saying that we need strong institutions more than powerful people. Now, is the U.S. government, are you seeing more of efforts from our government in promoting strong institutions, which of course strengthens the trade relations and level of engagement?
What we are seeing, we have had very important conversations with your government about the importance of strengthening democratic institutions throughout the country. And I'll say one example of that, one small example of your government's commitment, its stated commitment to strengthening governance and strong institutions, was the fact that your president, President Jonathan, appealed to President Obama for assistance in looking at what's going wrong in the oil industry and why proceeds did not seem to be what the country anticipated. And we know for a fact that your own government and your oil sector have conducted their own studies as to what was going wrong, why things weren't happening, what was happening with the oil here, what was happening with the proceeds. But because we have a good partnership with this country, President Obama did send a delegation over. I was part of that delegation to look at what was happening with oil proceeds. And we produced a report, and we've given that report to your government. And as it turns out, a lot of the answers as to what needs to be done really are possessed by your institutions, by the actors in your institutions. So we've had discussions with your government about how to strengthen what they're doing, how to increase transparency, how to demand accountability. And the onus or the responsibility now lies with those actors. Our sense is, our belief is that President Jonathan was serious, that the petroleum minister is also serious, and that we will see some reforms in the oil sector and in the way things are accounted for, the way people are held responsible for what they're supposed to be doing.
And finally, the issue of security is very key. I know our President, Goodluck Jonathan, the last time he visited White House, discussed the issue and pleaded for more assistance from the U.S. government, especially the menace of Boko Haram. Can you share with us so far the engagement level and the efforts by the U.S. government to really help stem this tide of violence and insurgency in the north?
I think you're right to talk about the threat that Boko Haram presents to this country. It's odd for an outsider's perspective because very often Nigerians talk about Boko Haram as if it's a problem for somewhere else, even though it's in the northern part of the country and it's a national problem. And our role in helping your government address this problem is really to advise from our own analysis that shows that there initially some of the facts on the ground that have proved to be exploitable by the terrorists have been the lack of services to the people on the ground, the lack of accountability of local government and of central government to Nigerians who are living in the north. And that provided an open space for adherents of Boko Haram or proponents of it to then develop a narrative that suggested that they would come in and take care of those same services, or they would respond where the national government had not. It is obvious that that's not really the role that Boko Haram wants to play. They are terrorizing Nigerians, they are killing innocents, they are ravaging your country. But the government response must be a response that not only stems the violence, but that addresses the needs of those people. It has to be a holistic response, and that's what we've encouraged.
Thank you very much, Ms. Williams, from the State Department. It's good having you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.